and it's like people who have watched all 14 spin-off series of The Walking Dead, and they're like, actually, that would be a better and much more simple way to live. And you're like, sure, except for the part where you need a bat wrapped in barbed wire to beat people's heads in all the time. And I think that it's the bat wrapped in barbed wire that is really appealing to a lot of these people. It's like, oh, my agency is that I could just exert violence to get things that I want. And it's a much too simple way of describing this phenomenon that is happening. But this like description you see coming out of the Muskosphere broskies that is like, oh yeah, the economy is absolutely going to fucking tank, and it's going to hurt for a while, and everybody's going to have to sacrifice, meaning you human ants will have to sacrifice while we, the ant queens, live up here in our spaceships while you feed us. You know, and they're describing this very clearly, and it's like, essentially, it's like down to the super Darwinian survivalist, like the strong will survive, the warrior bros will survive, and they will protect their women and children, and everybody else, like, fuck off and don't die of measles. It's like, people kind of think this sounds like fun, I guess, because living in a safe, normal country where the government has some vague responsibility for some aspects of public well-being seems like it's giving up liberty.
Well, we've romanticized the hero narrative to a degree, culturally, to a degree that I do think it's part of that detachment, right? Of like thinking I'm gonna be like a character in The Walking Dead, and it's just, it doesn't look like that. It's not gonna be that way.
Nobody's gonna be dirty and smelly and angry and hungry all the time, and I think everybody thinks that's gonna be just fine. But the rest of the world, just to be clear to Americans, as the richest and, in theory, most developed nation on Earth, doesn't live that way. They have healthcare. They have access to much cheaper education, which is good, and is increasingly better than ours because we're so busy with this, like, states have the right to teach you about fucking wagon wheels instead of science. And you're like, great, amazing, let's learn more about wagon wheels. Because I learned a lot about wagon wheels growing up in Idaho, but also science, just to be clear. So I just, like, people don't understand how badly we live as a rich fucking nation, and we don't need to. And it's not socialism, it's not Marxism, like space communists are not going to come and eat your face. It's actually just how government needs to work to ensure that we have a competitive workforce that allows us to remain the dominant, innovative nation on Earth, so we can continue to live in this safe, comfortable way that we live, where we don't have to give a shit about anything, ever, apparently. And, like, for me, it's just so hard after this election, because what I want to do is not think at all about what's happening in this country, ever. I just want to go and do the stuff that I do in other places and worry about, right now, how we deal with Russia. And the thing where Americans, like, don't understand how absolutely critical this American island is as the centerpiece of actual freedom in the world most of the time. It's not that other countries aren't free and strong and have functioning, vibrant democracies. They absolutely do. But the piece where we have this giant economic engine connected to our democracy, and this giant fucking military machine connected to our democracy, and thus have the ability to enforce the idea that democracy, aka individuals, matter and are not human ants, in the world, is the only reason it ever flourished or still exists. And we just sit here like it's this given thing, and we can go to our fucking Walking Dead camps and it's all going to be great. And, like, it's not going to be great, guys. People's going to take they're not going to leave us alone in our decaying Walking Dead society. They're going to take all our stuff from us and eat our children. Like, what
we're
the
trust
fuck
fund
are people
babies.
thinking?
Oh, we're a nation of trust fund babies.
If you're gonna try to emulate the actor in Walking Dead, emulate him in Love Actually, where he's trying to woo Keira Knightley by, making those signs up.
Yes.
That would be a lot more fun than killing zombies or whatever.